All right, let's dive in. We're talking about one of the most powerful skills you can possibly have: influence. How does it really work? We're going to smash together some old school wisdom with cutting edge science to build, well, the ultimate persuasion toolkit. And it all starts with one big question. So, what is the secret? The thing that lets people genuinely win friends, actually change minds, and get people to take action. Is it just an art, something you're born with? Or is it a science, something anyone can learn? Turns out the answer is, well, it's both. Okay, so check this out. In one corner, you've got Dale Carnegie. His book from way back in 1937 basically taught the world the art of getting along with people. Then, in the other corner, you have Dr. Robert Cialdini, a modern scientist who's dedicated his life to figuring out the psychology of why we say yes. So what we're going to do here is really cool. We're going to put them together. We're going to see if Cialdini's science can explain why Carnegie's art works so dang well. So let's start with Carnegie, with the art of it all. And his first big lesson, maybe his most important one, is actually about what not to do. And where he got this idea from, it's pretty wild. He learned it by studying some of America's most wanted criminals. I mean, just think about who said that. A kind heart that would do nobody any harm. That wasn't some charity worker. That was Two Gun Crawley, a literal cop killer, writing that note while the police were blasting his hideout. He actually saw himself as a good guy. And Carnegie noticed this pattern everywhere. Al Capone, he thought he was a public servant. Dutch Schultz, same thing. They all believed they were the good guys in their own story. And that is the genius of Carnegie's insight right there. If these hardened criminals can justify their actions and see themselves as heroes, what chance do you think you have criticizing a coworker or a family member about something small? It's completely pointless. It doesn't work. All it does is put people's backs up, makes them defensive, and forces them to double down on why they were right in the first place. You completely lose any chance to influence them. Okay, so if criticizing is out, what's in? Well, Carnegie was all about the positive approach. He tells this amazing story about Charles Schwab, who was making $1 million a year back in the 1920s. And get this, it wasn't because he knew more about steel than anyone else. It was because he was a master of people. He knew that giving honest, sincere appreciation and making people feel genuinely important, that's not some cheap trick. That's the bedrock of any real connection. All right, so we can all agree Carnegie's ideas work. They just feel right. But the big question is, why? What's going on inside our heads that makes this stuff so effective? Why do we soak up appreciation but shut down completely at criticism? To answer that, we need to switch gears from the art to the science. It's time to bring in Dr. Cialdini. So Cialdini's big discovery is that our brains are kind of lazy. The world is super complex, right? So to deal with it, we have these automatic, built-in shortcuts. He calls them fixed action patterns. It's like a script in our head. A certain trigger happens, click, and we automatically run the pre-programmed behavior, run, click, run. It saves us from having to think about every single little thing. And there's this fantastic story that makes it super clear. There was this jewelry store owner who just could not sell this batch of turquoise jewelry. She was so fed up, she left a note for her assistant to cut the price in half. But the assistant misread it and doubled the price by mistake. And what happened? The entire collection sold out almost immediately. Why? Because for those buyers, their brains went click, high price, run, must be good quality. The expensive equals good shortcut just took over. So Cialdini actually mapped out 6 of these major triggers, he calls them weapons of influence. They are the secret psychological levers that get people to say yes. Now, we're going to look at a couple of the biggest ones to really see how they operate. First up is a huge one, reciprocity. We are hardwired to want to repay favors. It's this deep-seated obligation. Look at this blood donation study. When researchers just walked up and asked people to donate a pint of blood, they got some takers, sure. But then they tried something else, this rejection then retreat move. First, they asked for a massive commitment, like donating blood every few weeks for years. People would say no, of course. Then the researcher would retreat and say, oh, okay, well, how about just 1 pint today? And boom, the success rate went through the roof. Because backing down from the big request felt like a concession, a gift, and people felt obligated to give something back. Okay, next up, social proof. This one is simple. When we're not sure what to do, we look around to see what everyone else is doing. It's why laugh tracks on sitcoms work. It's also why you see the bystander effect in emergencies. If nobody else is acting, we assume it must not be a real emergency. In really uncertain and isolated situations, this can have devastating consequences, like what happened at Jonestown. We just have this powerful instinctual need to follow the crowd, especially when we're confused.
All right, so we've got the art from Carnegie and the science of click run from Cialdini. But Cialdini didn't stop there. He found something else, another layer to this whole thing that is a total game changer. He discovered that the most powerful moment of influence isn't when you're making your case. It's the moment before you even open your mouth.
So let me ask you this. If you really want to persuade someone, what do you think is more important than your actual message? More important than the words you use or the evidence you've got lined up? The answer? It's the moment right before you say anything. Cialdini calls this persuasion. Think about it like this. The best influencers aren't just good at planting ideas. No, they're like master gardeners. They first take the time to prepare the soil of your mind so when they do plant a seed, it's ready to grow. And the reason this works is so simple, it's almost silly. Whatever we're paying attention to in a given moment, our brain automatically thinks is more important. So, for example, if I first ask you, hey, do you see yourself as an adventurous person? And then right after I ask if you want to try a weird new food, you're way more likely to say yes. I've persuaded you by getting you to focus on the idea of adventure first. And you won't believe how subtle this can be. Check this out. Researchers set up a furniture website. Half the visitors saw a normal background. The other half saw a background with soft, fluffy clouds. That's it. And the result was insane. The people who saw the clouds were way more likely to rate comfort as their top priority and ended up choosing the more expensive, comfy sofas. Just seeing clouds primed their brains to value comfort, and they spent more money because of it.
Okay, this has been a lot. We've got the timeless art from Carnegie, the deep science from Cialdini, and this mind-blowing idea of persuasion. So now for the best part. Let's put it all together. Let's build our unified influence toolkit.
And this is where the magic happens. Look how perfectly they fit. Carnegie's art is the what to do, and Cialdini's science is the why it works. So Carnegie says, remember someone's name. Why? Cialdini's liking principle tells us we trust people who like us. Carnegie says, give sincere appreciation first. Why? Cialdini shows us that's the principle of reciprocity in action. Every single piece of Carnegie's old school wisdom has a direct scientific explanation. It's like they were made for each other. So, when you boil it all down, influence isn't some kind of dark magic. It's really the art of making a genuine connection, but it's supercharged by the science of how our brains actually work. You've got the toolkit now, so the final question isn't just what you're going to do with it. The real question is, are you going to become that master gardener? Are you going to start mastering that crucial moment before to make sure your best ideas actually have a chance to take root and grow?